Wrestling legend turned stand-up comic. Comics at Foxwoods this coming Sunday.
Yeah, it's like I'm a storyteller. You take these great stories, the experience on the road, you exaggerate them just slightly, and it's like magic on the stage.
You have plenty of stories to tell, that's for sure. Like me, you grew up on Long Island, and you were actually high school classmates with funny man Kevin James.
Kevin and I were pretty good friends, and we were teammates in JV football and varsity wrestling, and actually attended the same school, college for a couple of years as well.
So he went on to do some acting. Some might say as a professional wrestler, you went on to do some acting. However, at a time when wrestling was clearly scripted and the punches and kicks were, quote, fake, you helped start extreme-style wrestling called hardcore and brought those types of matches to the WWE.
Yeah, I guess I did. I popularized it. We never liked the F word there, and we never. Back in those days, we had loose ideas more than we had scripts. But the name of the game was allowing people to suspend disbelief, like kind of the way you would in a movie, where you might actually know when you see Harrison Ford's name on the credits he's not the president of the United States. But if they tell the story convincingly enough, you'd be, all right, he's the president of the United States. So be the same way. If you were convincing and in your portrayal, you could get people to suspend disbelief while they're watching the show. And so that was always the goal for me, at least.
And there are some things that you just can't fake. For example, Mick Foley was involved in one of the most famous matches in wrestling history, the steel cage match with The Undertaker in the late 90s, where you jumped from 16 feet in the air and crushed through a table. You can't fake that. And that's one of the stories that you'll tell at Foxwoods this Sunday.
Yeah, amidst all the injuries, there's some humor to be found. And that evening, it's become one of my favorite stories to tell. People will be, it's a combination of wincing and laughing and a few tears as well. So it's not like your traditional setup punchline. It's a storytelling with some surreal qualities to it. It's a kind of a unique evening.
What are some of the other crazy things that you've done while in wrestling that people just would not believe?
I'm Terry Funk. There's an N in there just so you don't get any FCC trouble. Terry Funk and I engaged in a match where, the goal was to purposely throw your opponent onto barbed wire boards that were laced with C4 explosives.
Oh.
So it's kind of an odd thing where you're going out of your way to entertain people through really physical means, and in the end, years down the road, you look back on it, and it's so bizarre that it ends up in good stories.
Now, from the kids don't try this at home department, you were that kid growing up that was jumping off the roof of your house.
Well, actually, it was the roof of Danny Zucker's house, so let's have our facts straight there. But also, obviously, nobody should be doing that. And we've had, we had a landing area, so it was fairly safe. But
how did you lose a piece of your ear?
Oh, we're coming up on we're actually marking that occasion. Doing an appearance with the guy I was in the ring with when I lost it, Vader. 20 years ago in Munich, Germany. You try moves, they don't always work out, and there's a price to pay. And on that night, the price was my right ear. So, and now here's the one of the things I point out is the irony that any other sport, the real sports stop when you lose an ear, and the fake sport doesn't. Like, you continue going because you have not reached your conclusion yet.
Oh, my God.
So it's kind of a strange, you pick out even your most ardent MMA enthusiast, and be like, yeah, our sport stops when a guy loses an ear. At that time, at least, we just kept going.
Mick Foley, you have great stories to tell, and you've told a lot of them already. Not only are you a hardcore wrestling legend, you're also a New York Times best-selling author multiple times.
Yeah, we shocked the world in 1999 when I put out my autobiography. I could have guessed the economic downturn. I could have known America was in bad shape when all of the presidential candidates had their books out at the same time. And not only was mine on top of the list, but I was the only guy who had actually written his own book. So when you've got a pro wrestler doing his own work and the president's having it done for them, you know we're in trouble. So. We're storytellers in the ring. I love the idea of telling stories on the written page, and maybe most of all, love going out there and doing it on the stage. And in case anyone's on the fence, and there usually are, because they don't know quite what to expect, we do have the meet and greet, and I'm always very cordial at these meet and greets.
Mick Foley, now a stand-up comedian. I love it. Comics at Foxwoods this coming Sunday, March the 23rd, 8 o'clock. Look forward to seeing you Sunday, man. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.